Hey everybody, Ringworm here. Today's video we're going to do a how-to on lighting. So as you can see, I've got an image of one of my bookcases, and we're going to talk a little bit about the cost and how to do it. I've been seeing a lot of posts on Facebook and different social media platforms where collectors are buying their first display cases, and then they're saying, how are you guys lighting them up? So we're going to try to keep this brief. I know I say that every video, but it is what it is. And we're going to go into it a little bit detail. This is going to be a two-part series, so I'm just going to show you kind of some basics, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail because my Detolf shelves are a little bit more in-depth as far as the lighting goes than the rest of my collection. So I'm going to pan down here to my desk. Now, as you can see, I've got 3 packages here. And the reason why I thought about doing this how-to video today is because I bought some new lights. I bought these lights right here, and these are color changing lights, and they are also from IKEA. So if you look on here, it says dioder on the top, and it's got this different thing in here. If you look inside the package, it's got 4 strands of lights. It's got the color changer. It's got the regulator, and then the distributor, which is this thing right here. And the distributor sends the power to different things. Comes with different cables, different hookups. This is not exactly how it came. I thought about doing this video when I started looking at my case, because where I'm going to put these particular lights is in with RoboCop. I saw D Knight do a video with RoboCop, and he had different color lights in his case to light it up, and I really thought it would be cool to have a black, a red, or a blue light, or both in the case with RoboCop to kind of emulate different kinds of colors like police lights and that type stuff. Anyway, this is from IKEA, but if you look at this package, so this also says dioder right here, and as you can see right there from that image, it's a completely different setup, and I'll show that to you guys here in a second. And as you can see in this picture, it's got circular lights. Now, if you look at this case right here in front of you, that is what I'm lighting that case up with, is those particular lights. I actually love this set. They're really easy to use. The light's not too intense, but it is bright enough to emulate a, to light up a case. Excuse me, emulate isn't the right word. And then if you look at this one, this is probably the most common light accessory that most people use in their Detolfs. Now, how they light their Detolfs is going to differ a little bit because I kind of did my own how-to, and I'll kind of illustrate that in the second part video that we'll do next week. But for this video, these are the most common lights. So if I pan back over here to my Detolf, see the lights that are in the front there? They've got the 4 bars. That's pretty much those lights right there. And then I've got some other lights up in there, and those are different altogether as well. Those are a lot brighter, and they're a little bit more difficult to use than these ones that you can see here in the front of the cases and those ones that are over there. So really quick, I'm going to turn on my iPad here, and I'm going to show you, if the camera's too shaky, I apologize. I'm doing this by hand because I'm not a professional, so I got what I have. So if you look here, this is what when I type in IKEA dioder, this is what comes up. Now, I talked a few seconds ago about the different lights. So if you look on the screen here, this one right here is the ones that I have in my Detolfs. This is the color change one that I just talked about a second ago. This is the really bright one inside my case, and it doesn't actually show the smaller ones. I don't know if they sell them anymore, but I know that they did at one time. So, and then if you also see over here, Home Depot's got their own version. I will tell you guys this, I bought some of those Home Depot ones. They're extremely bright. They would work for lighting up your cases, but for me, they are extremely difficult to work with. So, you know, use your own judgment on what you should get. If you look here, the different types, this one's good because you can cut it and do different lengths and whatnot. But again, it really just comes down to you as an individual. I didn't get everything. I just tried it one time and it really didn't work out. But if you want to know what I'm doing, this is basically it right here. So you can get these lights from IKEA. You can do it online. I don't necessarily suggest doing it online because for some reason, at least for me, it seems like IKEA is expensive online. So anyway, I'm going to bring you over to the case over here because this is the best example. I'm going to shut the light off on it so you might be able to see it a little bit better. But if you pan up, this is the light. It's very, very simple. Not a lot to it. And then I have some black duct tape kind of covering the white line, and it goes behind my case. And each one is just basically like that. And then if you look over here, here's the switch for it. And then if you look down there, there is the plug for it. Now, one thing I don't like about these cords is there is a lot of excess cord. So you have to kind of tuck it away, tape it up, tie it up, however you want to do it to where it's out of the way. But that is one thing that you can do. Now, the other reason why I wanted to do this video is if you look at this case here is you do not have to spend a lot of money on cases. This bookshelf, for example, this is an IKEA bookshelf. It costs $19, so $20. Definitely not going to break the bank. It's a pretty good looking shelf. I have 2 of them, and I use them for various things. They work really well for displaying figures and stuff. Not quite as good as the Detolf. Obviously, there's no glass, so you have to dust them more, but they do work. Now, this is an improvision. So I told you guys in an earlier video that I moved offices. So I still live in that same house, but one of my daughters moved out, so I took over one of their bedrooms because she's off to college. So we made my little office the extra bedroom and this room my office, which is nice because it's a lot bigger and I have a lot more effective use of space. So these shelves that you're looking at in front of you are Walmart shelves. They're shoe organizers for closets. Now I painted them, and you might notice that one of the colors isn't like the other. It's mostly like that because I ran out of the darker color paint and I was too lazy to go buy the other paint, so I just used what I had, and it's that gray color. But I also lit it up. Now you might say, well, Dustin, you just wasted your time because you're gonna have to take those lights back out. And that's true, I might eventually have to do that. But I wanted to show this because you don't have to spend a lot of money to display your figures. I use this repurposed shoe rack, which kind of doubles as an entertainment center for my TV that's right there. And then if you look at the lights on it, it's the exact same lights as are in the bookshelf. And they just stick up there with command strips. I actually used the staple gun to hide the wire this time because they don't stick to the tape doesn't stick to the particle board very good. And you can see one of the wires hanging down there. I didn't move it over too well, but that's okay because it's not having to be anything formal. And then of course there's nothing on the bottom. So, and then I took just a black diorama from the Dark Knight Returns that I had got from Walmart, and I just put that as kind of a dark background, and you can't even see what it is. It just looks like kind of debris or something in the background, but you don't have to do that. That's just what I did. Anyway, so the different lighting. So we're gonna go back over to the desk, and I'm gonna show you guys. All right, guys, so here is the set that I was talking to you guys about just a second ago, and this is what's inside the box. So if you look here, you get this wire, and this is pretty much the primary wire for individual light strands, and you get 4 of those inside the package. In all the sets that I use for my displays, with the exception of one, that is exactly what you use to light up your case. So you get those 4 things right there. And as you can see, this is the connector right here for the light itself. So I'll show that here in just a second on how that is relevant to lighting up your case, if you can see that like that. Okay, then you get in here, this is the main power cord. It goes from the plug itself with this connector right here into this piece right here. So as you can see, it's got kind of a double socket end, whatever you want to call it. I'm not an electrician, so don't beat me up in the comments. Not that I get a lot of comments, but you never know. Anyway, so that just plugs into that plugs into any outlet, etc. Doesn't use a lot of power because it's LED, but you know, use your best judgment on what you want to spend for utility bills by leaving them on all the time. I shut mine off when I leave my office. You can leave yours on, whatever you want to do. And then this is the controller for the different colors. As you can see, it's got white all the way to red in color. You can do where color changes automatically or where it sets to the preset color, etc. That plugs in to this box, which is right here. Oops. Bump the camera. So this plugs into this right here, and this distributes power to the lights via these connectors and this thing right here. And then it comes with these little connectors inside, so you can, you know, potentially use. I used to, when I did my first Detolfs, I put all 4 lights that came in the set on the very, very top, and I made kind of a square ring out of them. And I really like the lighting on that, but the lower you got on the shelves, the less lighting they received. So you didn't get a lot of light. So I was telling you guys about the connector. So if you look in here, I'm bumping the camera again. If you look in here, it's got these kind of flexible connectors with a male and female end. And these connectors that go from the power source to the light have a similar connector, and this is flexible too. So what happens is you take this end and you can connect it. Now you can do 2 things. You can connect it like this, or you can do one long strand, which is probably what I'm going to do in the Robocop case, and do 2, or if I don't, I'll just do the 1. And if I can get this in here. So they connect like that, but you can take these other ends right here and you can change them different directions. So you don't have to have just one solid light. You can have a light that's connected with one of these that goes a different direction, however you want to do it. So that is kind of, in a nutshell, guys, that is the bulk of my lighting. So what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to show you guys how I did the lights in my case. Now, this might not work for you. It does require some assembly, meaning that if you don't feel handy enough to do it, I don't suggest you doing it. I was in the military and my grandfather's a handyman. I feel comfortable doing this. So my disclaimer is in the next video will be, don't try this at home. But as you can see, these are some of the excess wires from my other Detolfs, and as you can see, I've stripped some of the wires. I'm going to show you guys how I got all 4 strands to do that without having to spend extra money on different parts from IKEA and whatnot. So, guys, that's essentially the video today. The different dioders from IKEA, and if you want to know which ones they are. So the primary one that most people use in their case, at least as far as I'm aware, is this one right here. It's the IKEA dioder, and then the number on it down here is the number that you will look for to put on your case. So it's 201-194-18. Now, if you want to do the ones that I like the most, at least for versatility, like on bookshelves and whatnot, which is the case that you can see directly through this container, it is 001-194-24. And this one, guys, I'm telling you, is my favorite as far as bookshelves and stuff goes, because it is so much easier to do stuff with. And then if you want the color change light, like I'm doing in my Robocop case, and maybe I'll show a video on that too, because I've got to figure out how I want to put them in there. This is, sorry, get in focus, 501-92365. So a couple different options. As you can see, I showed you a professional case, meaning it's IKEA, and then I gave you guys a kind of a breakdown of how to do it on a budget with those shoe shelves that are repurposed. Again, guys, when you're collecting, it doesn't have to be expensive. A lot of collectors start small and then they work their way up. I'm at the point in my life where I've gotten a little bit to where I can spend a little bit more money, but a lot of these things in my collection, like you see straight across from you, they're not overly expensive. Most of those items on that case cost less than $100. Most of the items on that case cost less than $20. It just depends on what you want to spend your money on. But lighting is something that everyone talks about. So the dioder from IKEA is the primary light source that I use. There are other options you can get at Walmart and at Home Depot, Lowe's. I'm sure any hardware store has some type of option. If you're handy and you can figure out how to make it work, that's great. For me, IKEA is very simple. It's not overly complicated, and I can figure out how to use it on my own. Anyway, guys, that's the video today. If you got questions, I'd love to hear them. If you want to know something specific on how I did something, or if you don't like something and you think I could do it better, I'd love those comments as well. So don't forget to share this with your friends. Hit that like and subscribe button, that little bell icon for when I add new content, and I will see you in the next video.